Hello and welcome to this edition of the Mill P Writes Newshour. I'm your host, Greg Miller, author of Demons Within, co-host of the Demons Within podcast, and of course, your host for this show. Now, we're going to start with a little something that, nobody might notice, but I'm still going to bring it up. Yes, I have a bandage on the bridge of my nose. And why do I have a bandage, you may ask? Well, I got smashed in the face with a pineapple. That might be my answer because that's what happened. Does it hurt? A little bit. Is it going to stop my day? No, it's not going to stop my day. It's not going to stop my day because some days, life hurts. Some days life hurts, but you can't let it bog you down. You can't be stuck in a bog if you're trying to go about your daily business. You have to wake up. You got to do your routine. You got to go out. You got to do work. It's like some days you just wake up and you get smashed with a pineapple. Some days you don't. Cherish the days you don't. The days you do, move on. Move on, because there's work to be done. There's always work to be done. So let's get right on into our first story. Now, this first story, I'm starting to think I need to make a new segment about how things are just obvious. Maybe we can get Job Pete on here and we can call the segment Jobviously. Although he does admittedly have some reading difficulties.
I have an age.
It's okay, Peter. So this story, this research, it's saying, now, hold on to your butts again. Hold on to your butt cheeks. It's saying that alcohol use and binge drinking contributed to mental health problems during the pandemic. Wow, color me shocked. Take all the color out of me and shock me and electrocute me, because I just can't believe this. I can't believe how obvious it is. Now, this study was done by a student, so I don't want to disparage this person too much, because I love students. A good student's prudent, and you can go ahead and just do it. Nike. Now, this student, her name's what's her name here? It's Hawaii. So Yuyi, she did this study and she found that early in the COVID-19 pandemic, normal drinking habits and behaviors were associated with better mental health. So I guess what she's trying to say here is that all of her extensive research said that if you're not binge drinking, you're probably in a better state of mind than if you are binge drinking. So congratulations on the study and the PhD, and thanks for that tip. Thanks for the tip that I shouldn't be drinking. When I used to binge drink, which was quite often when I was in my drinking days and my active alcoholism, I would cause a lot of problems. I'd wake up, I wouldn't know how I got where I was. I wouldn't know what happened to all the money that was in my pocket that was replaced with receipts from ATMs that spanned the whole freaking town of Colony. So I just didn't know what I was up to. And that alone would compound, and it would make me worried about everything I did. I would feel like crap because of the alcohol. I'd be dehydrated. I'd have a headache. My esophagus probably swelled up with esophagitis. It was just, it was a train wreck situation. So they go into, all these various percentages and statistics, and it's just all so obviously jobvious. It's obviously jobvious. It's like the people who binge drank and changed their drinking habits to worse drinking experienced more symptoms of anxiety, depression, and all that crap. And, again, no shit. So then they also quote some doctor, Yuakui. She quotes a doctor, and, she's saying how a lot of mental behavioral patterns and drinking patterns changed during the pandemic. And rightfully so. The pandemic was a crazy, unprecedented time in society. People were cooped up. People were all cooped up inside like chickens in a chicken coop. And what do you have to do? Nothing. You have nothing to do. A lot of people took up drinking. As a hobby. And they probably shouldn't have done that. Because the truth is, if you have the fear, if you have the anxiety, if you might, your income's in question, your health's in question, there's people dropping like flies out there because of the COVID virus. It's like, yes, that's anxiety inducing. And one way to acutely treat anxiety is to drink. Because when you drink, you're not as anxious, you're socially lubed up, as they say in certain circles. But that's not the way to deal with things. Not the way to deal with things. And as Wing Wee says in this study, that can change mental thought patterns for a long time. For a long time, it can set you back. It can really set you back. So, if you find yourself in need of getting out of a setback, you got to ask for help. You got to put down the bottle. You got to go ask for help. There's people out there who will help. You need not face your troubles alone. You can call me. I'll be there. I'll be there in a jiffy. So yeah, that's that one. Let's move on to the next piece of article news. So this next piece of news is a good one. It's It's a real bamboozler. It's a real bamboozler. So according to this article, schools are now accepting mental health days as a valid reason to be absent from school. Now, I see sort of all different angles of this. I think it's a great thing. I definitely think it's a great thing. I believe the article does state that in 2020, the amount of mental health emergencies amongst the youth went up drastically, maybe something like 15 to 20%. That's a lot. 15 to 20% is quite a bit. So I definitely think it's a useful, fair, and great thing to have a mental health day and to have it be a legitimate excuse to take a day off of school. My only issue with it is I think back to me, young Gregory Millerly, newsman, when I was just a news boy. I think of the things that I would have done with this. I would have been taking 3 to 5 mental health days a week. And yes, a school week is 5 days. So yes, I'm saying I would have took entire weeks off of school even when I didn't have any mental health symptoms. Now, I don't know if they're putting like a cap on it, but even that, how do you put a cap on something? It's like, all right, we're giving you 10 mental health days this year that you can use. So what happens on day 11 when you're having a legitimate mental health issue? You got to show up to school. You got to show up and be a wreck. You got to be crying in the corner. You got to be acting out. You got to be raising your hand and telling the teacher to shut the face up. You got to be telling the teacher to shut the face up. There's a lot of problems with this, but I still think it's a good idea. Sometimes the brain thinks one thing and the heart thinks something else. Sometimes the brain thinks one thing and the heart thinks something else. It's just a tale as old as time. It's like Beauty and the Beast dancing in the hallway with all the freaking things from the kitchen talking and dancing too. It's saying too how a year of the pandemic restrictions, the virtual learning, all that other crap that you had to do and change about a normal everyday school routine, it really threw people for a loop, made them all loopy. It looped them up just like a loop out of Tilt-A-Whirl. And I don't think Tilt-A-Whirls have loops, but who cares? We're not talking about amusement park rides. We're talking about mental health. We're talking about alcoholism. We're talking about addiction issues. So yeah, like I said, I think it's a good idea, and I think that's all I have for you today. I hit my face on a pineapple. I gotta go tend to it. It's just something you have to do every now and then. So thank you for tuning in. Look out for Demons Within, the novel, dropping on September 19th. If you're watching this after September 19th, clearly it's out already. Do I need to explain how dates work in time? Do I need to explain the time-space continuum to the average folk out there? I don't believe so, because I know my viewers are intelligent, hardworking, upstanding people of integrity. Besides that, what else? I don't know. Demons Within podcast. Co-host with the job, Peter Montesano. Look for that dropping every Sunday. And look for the next episode of this show, the Mill P Writes Newshour, dropping on Wednesday. Thanks for tuning in. Gregory Millerly knows Pineapple Man out.